Okay, I have 16 minutes. I'm gonna first establish. I don't think you can get arrested or charged for talking to another person. 'Cause I don't think you get arrested or charged for talking to another person. They can't allege that it's like sex trafficking or something. Because we already know, like, at this point, like all these people going to prison, and like, I already established like human nature and all that other stuff. I mean, that's not me, and that's not for the video. And like every grim story or whatever has like two sides, and there's allegations and whatever. But for purposes of the video, I'm not gonna elaborate too much on that. But what I wanted to really talk about was uh something I wanted to say that was very important. The guy was well, no, I mean, for one, real life, I mean, I mentioned it is cursed, right? Like in dunya, the Quran says. And like like your basketball games or hockey games, like thing is, like, if I were to, for example, say like, okay, you know what, I'm not engaging the real world, I'm not, not in any way, shape, or form, I'm not watching TV, I'm not playing sports, I'm not, breathing any air, like, then that obviously makes sense, because then, like, like, that's, for lack of a better word, you're not engaging the world. But like, but like, we already know that, like, and like I mentioned, like, whether the doorknob was too far, or like, the guy said something, and like, these little things, they add up, and they can frustrate you, and they lead you to being upset and bitter. And they frustrate me, right? So like, they annoy me, they waste my time. And it like, I mean, that's the whole issue. These little things, these proportions are all real and problems. And so like, the truth of the matter is, like, I mean, the person can indirectly or directly communicate with you. They can watch these videos and judge me or not, whatnot. And whether like the like, whether or not, like, I need time to waste, and I have an incalculable amount of time to waste afterwards. I can, right, and I can go the full mile. Because, like, like, then why would I engage in the first place, right? Like, why not just watch the stupid TV show and then, like, call it a day, right? Because, I mean, that's how it was. And like, because then you're getting involved, and especially if you don't know what you're doing, you could maybe put yourself in a world of hurt that you didn't sign up for. Like, getting involved in any of these sports, which could lead to violence, because there's like a competition. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, what's it called? I mean, the final, like the final analysis. Okay, I have these videos, I can post them whenever I want, and they just have a final, like, statement of, like, on my defense, on my behalf, right? Aside from, like, other problems, and like, as a final statement, just as an explanation, as for like, because after all this time, right, like, like, after 2012, or after like 2016, like, obviously, like, there wasn't a final solution, and we all know the system doesn't work. I was complaining to the helpline earlier about all these problems, the airplane making noise, and people, and the cars, and all this, and it all adds up, and like, you bottle it in, but then you gotta, like, express the frustration online. I mean, I already said, like, the real world is cooked or finished. So, like, people, like, all it takes is just talking or even walking, to get into a problem, which is why, I'm very careful, and I can barely walk properly, right? Um, because I'm not trying to get anything from the real world, right? Like any joke I would have made or anything I would have said in the past, I don't. Because the situation just it garners that it's that serious because everything is a problem and whatever, and like um, I think I'm lost, but whatever. Everything is a problem, and like geopolitical disasters. I'm at 1%. I'm gonna head back to my dorm and